Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my 2020 Declutter series. Today we're tackling face palettes and I'm kind of dreading this because I know that this is going to be hard for me. There's a lot of palettes in here that I really like, but I haven't used in a long time and I know it's time to let go of them, but I just can't. By the way, the lighting is super strange in this video. I tried to fix it, but like I'm sitting here in front of my window with natural lighting and it's like overcast and it keeps changing, and so hopefully everything is okay. Okay, so let's hop into it. I just right before this video filmed my bronzer and highlighter declutter, which kind of led me to now the face palettes, because a lot of those kind of tie into these and I don't necessarily need all of them. You know what I mean? You'll see when I get into it. Okay, so right off the bat, some that I know I can get rid of. This Tarte Park Avenue Princess is a contour palette. I loved it when I first bought it. I haven't touched it in probably a year and a half. So because of that, I know that I don't need it anymore. And quite honestly, when I'm reaching for a contour palette, it's typically my Kat Von D, which I've had for longer. I've had this for a really long time, but I use it. So it's the one that I use the most. I use it more than the Tarte Park Avenue Princess. So keeping the Kat Von D, getting rid of the Tarte. On that note, I have a couple of other contour palettes in here that I really wanted to go ahead and take a look at. So this NARS one is the first one. It's a little miniature one. It's the Olympia palette. I've had this for so long. I was getting ready to declutter this in my bronzer declutter, but I wanted to compare it to some of my other palettes before I did that. So I wanted to compare it to the Kat Von D Shade and Light, and so this has like a little bit of a yellow color and then like a light, little bit of a grayish undertone bronzer. It's hard to see with this very strange lighting, but there really isn't a contour or bronzer color that matches that in the Kat Von D. The yellow one slightly matches this yellow one in the Kat Von D, so that one, but there isn't really one that matches this. So I think I'm actually going to go ahead and keep the NARS, even though I'm keeping the Kat Von D, because this one's more travel friendly. Not that I travel a ton, but you know. And then this is another one I was on the fence about in my bronzer declutter. It's the Marc Jacobs Dream Filter Contour Palette. It is like half highlight, half contour bronzer. I actually just bought this not too long ago, so I'm not quite ready to part with it, but I wanted to compare it to some of my other palettes before I decluttered. But I think if all I'm keeping are these, then I think that's fine. You know, I feel good about that. So keeping those. This NARS, I think I'm going to declutter, guys. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I gave a good hard attempt at trying to finish this up last year, or maybe it was the year before. I hit pan on it. It's almost gone, but it's to the point where it's cracking every single time I use it, and it's really messy, and I just don't like to keep messy products. They get all over my carpet, they get all over my drawers, and they're very messy. So I'm going to get rid of it, but I am going to keep the little miniature Ita brush that came with it. I just think that this little brush is super cute. I have a full-size Ita, but that you can see, well, maybe you can't see, but the brush is like covered in bronzer because it keeps breaking, you know, like not because it's been used, but because like, anyways. Okay, so I'm going to keep the little Ita brush, set that aside, but I am going to go ahead and declutter this NARS. It's also just humongous, so it gets difficult to store. Okay, so I think that's all of the like contour bronzer type things, but there might be more that pop up as we get deeper in. Some easy ones for me. I'm keeping all of my Hourglass palettes. Oh, this is actually a blush palette, which I guess there is blush palettes in here. Hourglass is so good, and these palettes are typically limited edition. So I'm going to keep all of these 6-pan palettes. I have the Ghost palette, which is from this last holiday, and then these two are from the holiday prior. This Ghost blush palette, I bought this last year. And then this was the first blush pan palette they came out with, 3-pan palette they came out with a few years ago. So I'm going to keep all of those. Those are easy keeps for me. Okay, let's get into some that are a little bit more difficult, but they're decisions that I know need to be made. This Milani, I'm going to get rid of. I did just buy this last year, and I did like it a lot, but the quality of Milani blushes, at least in this palette form, is just not as good as some of the other palettes that I'm keeping. So quite honestly, if I'm reaching for a three-pan blush palette, likely it's going to be this Hourglass one, not this Milani one. So I'm going to get rid of that. On the note of three-pan blush palettes, I do have a few others in here. I have this Clinique Cheek Pop one, and then this Bare Minerals one. This Bare Minerals one, honestly, the color that I use in it the most is this middle pink color. And I have that color in other palettes or single forms already, so I'm going to get rid of that. There's no need in keeping the whole palette just simply for that one color. This is a newer purchase. My baby's over here, and he's in this phase where he loves to roll onto his belly, but then he sometimes gets stuck, and so he like grunts because he's stuck on his belly. So anyways, this one I really like. You can see it's not that used, but I honestly forgot about it. If I'm being totally honest, I forgot that I owned this one. I really like that one. This other Clinique Cheek Pop palette is more of a highlight contour blush palette. You can see this one has been torn to shreds. I have used this one so much over the past year. This came out spring 2019 and I love it. Definitely keeping that one. I think I'm going to keep that one as well just because I do really like it. This Becca and Chloe, I'm going to get rid of it. I bought it, actually I bought it last year. I remember I wore it when I took our like announcement I'm pregnant pictures, which was last year. So that's how I remember that I bought it last year, but I haven't reached for it since then. So I'm going to get rid of it. It is really pretty though. It reminds me a lot of the Hourglass palettes. This Kevin Quan is a highlighter, but it's huge, you guys. This is a huge palette for just a highlighter. And I think because of that, I just don't reach for it. If I'm reaching for a highlighter, it's either going to be in a palette with other things or it's going to be a much smaller container than this. I know that's a silly reason to get rid of something, but it's the honest truth. So I'm going to go ahead and declutter that. This Becca and Jacqueline Hill, guys, I thought I would never declutter this, but okay, so I have two of them. I have this one, which was a limited edition palette that she released like shortly after her like initial Champagne Pop launch, which we all know how long ago that was, right? Then we have just the Becca and Jacqueline Hill palette, which was released, I think, right around the same time, a little bit before this palette. They both have Champagne Pop in them, but the other colors are different. This one has more of a gold in it. I think this was Prosecco Pop and Champagne Pop. I don't have Champagne Pop in the single highlight container anymore. I decluttered that last round because I knew I was keeping these two palettes that both have Champagne Pop in them, so I figured I didn't need the single Champagne Pop anymore. When I'm looking at these palettes, the most wearable one for me, quite honestly, is probably the bigger palette because it has 3 blushes in it as well. And is that Flower Child that's in here? No, it's not Flower Child. It's Rose, Spritz, Amaretto, and Pamplemousse. The Pamplemousse one is dark. It's really dark. I know it's hard to tell in the lighting of this video, but it's like a deep red. And I've worn it a couple of times, but I really have to sheer that out when I wear it. The middle one is beautiful. It's like a nude blush. And then this one is very similar to Flower Child, which is actually one of my favorite Becca blushes. God, I wish I could lower the lighting on this a little bit. Okay, I don't know if that helped at all. I don't think it did. But I think I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this palette. I've held on to this for so many years thinking like, oh, it's limited edition. I'm never going to be able to get it again. It has the color Pearl Pop in it, or Pearl or something like that, Pearl, which is a beautiful kind of like white highlighter, but I just don't wear white highlighters like that anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead, link it, and declutter. Oh, buddy, you're a mess right now. I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this one. I'm gonna keep this one for now. If I don't reach for it at least a handful of times in the next couple of months, I'm gonna declutter it next round, but I'm gonna keep that one for now and get rid of that one, which is huge. I never thought I would get rid of that. As far as Anastasia highlighters go, I've held on to these two for a while as well. The Glow Kit, this was the Gleam Glow Kit. I do reach for this occasionally. I kind of made my own like Franken palette. I mixed a couple. I had like the Sugar Glow palette and this palette together. I like mixed some of the pans up and it's all mishmashed now. So these aren't necessarily the highlighters that came with this one. I think I'm going to keep that one, and I think I'm going to declutter the Nicole Guerrero one. I know, gasp. I never ever thought I would. But a lot of these colors are just, I know it's really hard to tell. There you can kind of see a little bit better. Are just way too dark for me, if I'm being honest. There's like a really dark coppery rose gold that would never work for me as a highlighter. Forever Young is actually quite beautiful. It's probably my favorite in the palette. It's this middle top one right here. I do really like that one. That's probably the only one that is actually like everyday wearable for me. The rest just don't make any sense for my skin tone. So I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this one. I'll probably put this one up on PoshMark because it can be sanitized. It is a powder palette and it was limited edition and I haven't really used it that much. So wow, that's huge for me as well. But I'm gonna keep that one. This one from Sheena B Cosmetics. They sent this to me in PR, which was so nice, but I have never had a chance to use it because I have so many other palettes, as you can see. I just haven't really had a chance to play with this. It's brand new, and I think because of that, I'm going to go ahead and give it to somebody. I can't sell it because it was gifted to me, but because it is brand new, I think this would be a really good gift to somebody. So I'm going to save that either for a giveaway or somebody in my family, but I'm going to declutter it for the purposes of this video. This Tarte palette, I think I'm going to go ahead and finally part with this one as well. I've had this one for a while, but as you can see, a lot of the colors in this palette are just massively too dark for me. This color right here, I would probably never use. Same thing right here with this kind of orangey, corally color. They're just too dark for me. I really like the color Prim that's in the middle and this color Beaming. But I just don't reach for it. If I'm going to reach for a blush palette, likely it's going to be my Hourglass palettes. It just is. So because of that, I don't really find the need to keep too many other blush palettes. Speaking of blush palettes, this Too Faced palette, God, I love this palette. But I just got done saying if I'm reaching for a blush palette, it's likely going to be an Hourglass palette. So I think, honestly, I think I'm going to go ahead and declutter this. I think my mom or my sister would really, really like this palette a lot. I did get another, I bought this one with my own money, but I did get sent another one of these in PR and I did do a giveaway with that and gave it to one of you guys. So I hope that you guys are really loving that, you know, whoever won that. But I think I'm going to go ahead and part with this. I just don't wear it as much as I thought I would, and I think, God, but this color Pink Sand, oh, it's so pretty. I don't know, I don't want to second guess myself, so, does it have a scent to it? It does, it kind of smells like sunscreen, I think. I feel like it kind of smells like sunscreen. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to see if my mom or sister wants this. If they don't, I will keep it. But I just want somebody to really love and use this the way it deserves to be loved and used, you know, because it's such a nice palette. So if one of them doesn't want it, I'll keep it. My mom's coming to visit me in a few weeks, so I'll see if she wants it. And then my sister's coming, I think, shortly after that. So I'll see. But there's that. Okay. This Charlotte Tilbury, like I said, in my last video, anything that's Charlotte Tilbury is fairly new to my collection, so I definitely want to keep it. I really like this palette. It's kind of on the note of a contour palette, so I should have included it when I was doing that whole sweep. But there is kind of like a sculpting powder and then a highlight powder. I really like this. I'm keeping that one. And you know what? I think because I'm keeping that one, I am going to go ahead and part ways with this NARS. I've been on the fence about this NARS for the past 2 videos, so I'm going to go ahead and part with it. I was keeping it mostly because it is very travel friendly, but this Charlotte Tilbury one is equally as travel friendly. So it doesn't have a matte highlight in it, but it's okay. I'll figure it out. So I'm going to actually declutter the NARS, so I'm glad I figured that out. This Charlotte Tilbury, again, is fairly new. I have noticed that the formula of the blushes in this palette is not as prestige and good as the single palette Charlotte Tilbury blushes. I feel like they're made differently. I don't know. Tell me if you guys feel the same, but I was on the fence about getting rid of this one a little while ago, but I think I'm going to keep it. This actually might be one where I'll see if my mom or sister wants it, and if they don't, I'll just keep it myself. I think this was one of the very first Charlotte Tilbury products I bought in the Nordstrom anniversary sale 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. Yeah, 3 years ago. I don't know, I can't remember. But it's nice because the highlighters are not too much. They're just like a nice, I know you guys probably can't see because I'm up here holding Lincoln, but yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to see if my mom or sister wants this, and then if not, I will probably keep it, but I have a feeling one of them will take it from me. So, wow, that's another one I thought I would never get rid of. Okay, I'm down to the final 2, so I have this, trying to open it up, this NARS palette that I did purchase last year. It's the Hot Nights palette. I haven't really used it that much. It's definitely more of a summertime, fall time palette. And during the fall and late summer of last year, I was pregnant and then I had Lincoln, and so I just was not in the mood to be wearing lots of makeup. So I didn't give this palette a fair shot. So I think because of that, I'm going to keep it. But if I don't like it, I will probably declutter it. Maybe like in the next round of declutters. And then this Smashbox NKC Homes palette is probably my favorite highlight palette that I own. Actually, now it's the only highlight palette that I own. Oh, that's a lie. I have this one as well from Anastasia, but these are the only 2 highlight palettes that I own now, and I do really, really like this one a lot. So I used it on my wedding day. It's just a beautiful palette. So I think this is really good. It looks like I am decluttering. Let's count. I'm decluttering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 palettes, and I'm keeping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Wow, okay, so I'm getting rid of pretty much half of them, which is, I think, a huge accomplishment. I'm pretty dang proud of that. So that is the end of my face palette declutter. If you guys like these kinds of videos, then check out my playlist down below. I've done a few other categories this year. I'm still going through them. I'm kind of towards the middle of my collection. I still have eyeshadow palettes, single shadows, foundations, concealers, powders. I still have all of that to go through, but I've already decluttered lip products, blushes, cheek products, things like that. So check out my playlist down below. I'll also have my playlist from years prior if you really want to go on a bender and just watch like all the declutters. Watch them because they're fun. I like watching these videos. And then also, if you're interested in purchasing any of these products that I am decluttering, check out my PoshMark. I don't know when I'm going to post them, but I will eventually. It's just kind of hard, you know, with a little baby. But my PoshMark name is Mel's Makeup 88, same as it is here, so you can check that out. And that's it for now. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye!